Hello, everybody. My name is Margaret Reed, and I am a processor. Um, I've done different types of processing. I've done business processing. I've done loan processing, and other things. Anything that you get. I'm just a basic processor. I'm a fixer and arranger. I'm a researcher. I do things. Whatever. But this is just an introduction video. But as I move forward and stuff, I can. I'll get into more details about things, but I've been doing processing for the past 22 years. Actually, since 1999. Officially, I've had jobs before, but what really made me want to continue this was the love of processing. I love it to death. There's nothing that I don't see myself doing anything else. I've done a little, PI work, but I'll say everything that just, when I mean PI, like private investigator and stuff, but it's not that type of thing. I just like to, I see where, for me, where it made sense, where business analytics, project manager, and private investigation and processing all is rolled into one, because one, for me, being a processor, like a loan processor, for example, you're processing the loan, you're verifying everything, you submit the loan for approval, and then that's processing. That's it in a nutshell. If anybody else had anything to say, comment. Now, as far as business analytics, what you're doing is that you're selling a product. You're comparing it to other brands. Like, for instance, like for me, business analytics is like just staying on top of things. So if I were to, let's say, I don't know what to use. Let's say that these two are the same thing, but one is black and one is red, right? Two markers and stuff like that. So this is the company that I work for. So what I have to do at this point is that I want to launch this and make this a product for the consumer, right? So what I have to do is that I have to research my competitor, because we both have the same brand but different colors, So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the black one, and I'm going to, research and find out all the information of what they're doing and how they sell their product and what they charge and how much they do bringing in revenue, profit, losses, the whole thing, so I'm basing it off of them to see how they're doing it, and then at that point, that'll allow me, for whatever mistakes that they've made in the market and stuff, that I can bring that knowledge to me. So I'm researching what they do and how they do it, just to make this better and be on top of them. Does that make sense? That's what business and analytics is to me. You listen to the customer, you listen to what they want, and then you bring it to fruition. Business analytics and project management is the same thing. Because they're both, the people that you're dealing with, to me, anybody that has a vested time where they want their product on the market, and we have to do testing, we have to launch things, we have to get websites, we have to set up all the stuff like that. Business analytics and processing goes hand in hand. They're both the same, really. Both of them are time, or both of them is all about timing, schedule, making sure the projects get done, make sure that the budget that you're given, that you don't go over budget. You see what I mean? Okay, so that's what it is. So that's what I'm doing now. As a loan processor, it's different, right? You're only given a certain amount of time. So if you have like a purchase loan, and meaning purchase, like new people buying a home, like they've never owned one before, and we have 30 days to complete it, 60 days to complete it, so that's a time frame. So it benefits them more if you were able to close that loan earlier than 60 days, right? Even with a cash refi or a cash out refi, the same thing. For me, I don't, when I look at my screen, I see, and it gives me a date of when that rate lock expires, and then it also gives me an estimated closing date. So let's just say, for instance, like today is the 6th of November, which it is, right? So I get this loan, I'm going to process it, and I have up until January 1st. I'm not going to stretch that loan out to January 1st. I want to close that loan early. So what I do is that I contact the clients on the phone and say, hey, listen, your estimated closing date is November. Is January 5th, but I can get this closed out at least by December. So if you give me the documents, you do a little bit of, it's a lot of things. Everything is incorporated. So you negotiate, say, listen, if we can, I can get you in that house before January. We could get this closing done, right? That's what I'm about. So this bank I worked at, I just finished an assignment with them, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like to badmouth things, and I'm not doing that, but I just want them to understand of what they're causing themselves, because they make huge mistakes. They're leaving money on the table. And what I'm saying is that these banks wasn't used to, this bank that I was working with wasn't used to me at all. They couldn't understand it. They liked it, but they didn't like it. They didn't like, because I was pushing them to do their job much quicker, right? Because once you submit a loan to me, like 3 or 4 days, it's already at the underwriter before the underwriter writes that commitment. Because I know how to talk to people. I'm like, listen, do me a favor. Here's my email address. Send me all your pay stubs, whatever. See, I don't have much time on here, but I just wanted to tell you that that when you get a loan processing job, make sure you ask questions of who does what, who orders the title, who orders the appraisal, who orders the credit report. Okay, what does the loan officer do? And then and then usually there's a thing called upfront fees, where they have to collect money for the flood certificate, and who orders that? They have to collect money for the credit report. They have to collect money for the appraisal. Make sure that the loan officer is telling the client what they have to pay up front, and you have to collect that upfront money right away. But anyway, so this place wasn't even organized, and the reason I'm saying this, I'm not venting because I was glad to leave there, because then I can move on to other things, and it gave me an idea of how I'm going to process on the next assignment. If I were to do that again, but I don't think I will, because I'm doing project management right now. Make sure that your processing makes sense. And most likely in this place, it didn't make sense to them, because I was like busting these loans like it was nothing. The underwriters didn't like the fact that I was moving fast. So that means I kept every loan I had, I bust them out, hand them over to the underwriter. And, they were purposely sending it back to me saying that I'm missing things. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, because they were behind, and it's okay, but that's the thing, that it was just not run well. And if you don't gel with that mortgage company or that bank, it's not going to work, especially when they're behind in the times. You see, I always go with the changes. I never say, 20 years ago I did this. No, those are time, though, is what you're learning now. What do you know now? What do you do? Two questions, the two main things that you need to focus on. What do you know now, and what you think would be a benefit to the future, right? So they couldn't handle my work. They couldn't handle it, So that's why, they called me when they said, it's due to lack of work. We can't, and I had to leave the assignment, which was fine because I was going to leave anyway. You can't, the thing is that they're not generating enough clients to keep everybody, because of the standard fact is, because of the fact is that they just don't have they're not organized, and it's just a whole thing. But anyway, I just want to let you know that the next session is going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly of loan processing. I'm telling you the real deal. See, all these people on here will tell you, oh, it's a great profession. It is a great profession if you know what you're doing. So that's what it is. So I'll be continuing on. I don't even know, how long do I have on here? I don't know what time, how many, okay, well, we'll do all right, I guess hopefully it's 15 minutes then. I thought it was the end. The good thing is the money. The good thing is satisfying the client and making a name for yourself. The bad thing is that when you work under somebody that really doesn't know anything, okay, and then you end up doing so good that it makes them look bad. The ugly side of it is that people that you work under that don't understand why you're doing it and how you're doing it, but you're coming out on top. They will try to do something to try to sabotage you because they don't want to, they don't want you to advance. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just I'm just talking real talk. I know I'm good. I know I'm the best, so I can't get mad at this, because it's a matter of fact that it actually compliments me, because you couldn't keep up with me, because I'm about my business. You see what I mean? I don't mess around. You see, what they were doing is that you have an estimated closing date, let's say, like I said, in January. Now is the beginning of November. Why should I drag this out for 60 days when I can close this shit in 3 weeks? That's what I don't understand. And that's what I was doing. I was trying to close loans before 30 days, even though the estimated closing date was 60 days from now. That's what frustrated me, okay? That's what it is. You should appreciate me that I'm actually doing is trying to close out these loans. I was busting them out like it's nobody's business, and they couldn't understand it. And then the person I was working under was trying to sabotage, trying to slow me down, and creating drama between me and the loan officer. Sorry, my hair. Me and the loan officer, trying to turn me and the loan officer against each other because the loan officer is old. The reason I'm saying that, like, she's old-minded. Me, I'm about my business. I'm about times, about what's happening now. That's what's going to get you paid, is what you know now. Not what you know 20 years ago. So don't go into no bank or any mortgage company and say, yeah, I did 22 years, but we used to do it this way. No. It's what you know now. Because the process changes. And you have to create the process for today. That's why I'm studying coding and AI intelligence, algorithms, because that's what's going on today. But see, that's what I'm saying. See, most of these old processors from 30, 40 years ago, it's not going to work. You have to keep updating yourself. You have to keep reinventing yourself. You have to keep giving more, put more, add more to processing. Don't go by the way the bank, what the bank teaches you is what the way they want to start off with that. But at the same time, while you work in files, try to come up with something that would just actually change the system, like what I did. And I blew their minds, and they couldn't understand it. That's why they turned around and made up a fake story. We don't have any more work. We have to let you go. No, the reason for that is because other people were looking at me and praising me for my work, and she couldn't handle that. That's the ugly part of it. When you have somebody that work under you that you work under, that has the power, more power than you, but they don't know how to manage the department. That's the ugly side of it. So me, I can't, if I see something that's better, where benefits bank, where the bank would make more money, and you claim way more, I'm gonna tell you. But she didn't want to hear that from me. You see. So what she was doing is that she was turning me and the loan officer against each other. But as it turned out, me and the loan officer said, you know what? We're going to do this on our own. Let's do this. And I was getting the loan officer paid. I was closing out her loans. Right? So it depends. It depends. So just all I'm saying is that if you get a job as a loan processor, do you. But just make sure that when you do something, you stand tall and you stand on the ranks. Because I had a guy that told me, but that president, I was the 4th best in the bank, and I just got there. Loan officers was dying was fighting over me because I was making it happen. You see what I mean? Confidence is a hell of a thing, and you have to have it, and you have to study the same time. When you work 9 to 5, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to clock out at 5. Stay an extra hour, but you don't have to do the work. Just go through the computer system to see exactly what it is and study it and see and try to make it better. Change the process. But that's what happened to me. I changed the process of processing, you see, and they didn't like that because they weren't willing to move with the times. They were still on Encompass, which people still use today, and I do commend Encompass. But there's a lot more to it. Encompass is a very, very good system. But there's so many ways that you could create processes on it. It's not even funny. But they were only doing it for the basis that they didn't even know anything. They barely knew nothing. We were all, they looked at it like, oh, we're all learning together. No, not me. Okay. But if you're going into loan process, it's a great place. But make sure you find that the key to loan processing is to make sure that you ask questions as to who does what. Did the loan officer tell the client how much it's going to cost? Is the loan estimate was sent out to the customer? Keep in contact with your client because people want to be, you know. So I don't know. This is my first time doing this, so I really don't know if this is the end for me. But I'm going to end it now. But I just want to let you know that as we go along, I'm going to tell you exactly what loan processing is, what what my tricks are, things like that. How to beat the system. When I mean beat the system, like if you have 60 days to close a loan and stuff like that, you can get it done in 30 days, even before 20 days. I closed a loan in 20 days. And even before, I think I did one, the shortest time I did a loan, because we have 14 days as processors to submit it to the underwriter, and the underwriter give a 72-hour, decision. I would actually turn in, depending on how I speak to the client. You see, and that's another thing. They didn't want me to speak to the client too much, which is stupid. I'm like, listen, I know my name is Margaret, and my name is Margaret. Listen, like I said, your end date is in January and stuff. It's not November, and so you shouldn't have to wait 60 days to get this loan closed. You give me the documents that I need to submit to the underwriter, I can get this done for you in 2 weeks. It doesn't take that long. The only time it takes long is when something comes up on the credit report that need explanation, or whatever. Or we need to find out, certain things, or maybe the only way a loan is late is when the appraisal doesn't come in on time. Because now appraisals are back, or the title company don't send the title information on time. Other than that, if it was straight processing, this thing would be done. We didn't need title appraisal. These loans would be closed out faster, and you could save relays. But that's what it is. So, it's hard when you work for a mortgage, and then you work under someone that's very insecure, and they hold you back, and they're telling you slow down. Slow down for what? Why? Because she was telling me to slow down for her underwriters, because she ran that department, the underwriters were behind. And I was proving it as such, and that's what happened. But I'm not going to slow down. Anytime I put my hands on something, it's magic. I'm going to make sure that it happens and it gets done properly. I'm not going to sit here and just make it easier for someone because someone can't catch up. If you can't catch up, that's on you, okay? But when I do my work clean, cut, and brick, right? Because when I put my hands on something, I brick it like construction, build it, and bring it to you. Now I'm done with it. Now it's on you now. I'm not going to slow down for nobody. If you're a processor, don't feel sorry for the underwriter, because when you put yourself behind for them, remember, you're the one that gets spoken to as to why things are late. You need to order your services, your appraisals, credit, whatever. No, that's whatever. Whatever services they have, you make sure you get everything up front. Don't wait for nobody. You see, because she was like, oh, we need to work together. Yeah, we're working together, but I need to work for me. My name is on the line. I'm not going to sit here and make it easy for the underwriter. I got all the documents here, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, and all this stuff. I'm giving it to them, okay? They need to make a decision. We need to get this loan closed in 20 days. I need to get it to the closer in 20 days. We're not going to stretch this out for 60 days. We're going to get this done now. And that's what happened, because I kept busting loans, getting commitments and things like that. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to do that, ma'am. No. If I get a loan from the loan officer, and another thing, I'm going to talk about another thing too as well, how loan officers, if you have Encompass, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a processor and you're in Encompass, I hate when the loan officers start the loan. Remember, your clock is ticking on Encompass. They'll have it sit there in a started milestone for 4 or 5 days, knowing full well that you need the full 14 days to get loan started, and they'll have it sit there before they move that milestone. That's what bothers me. I'm like, listen, don't put shit in my bucket and you don't do nothing about it. Make sure you do something and then pass it to me, because once you pass it to me, I'm going to get started. It's a mess. That's the ugly part of it. But I'll tell you, but listen, it's not a bad profession if you're working for the right place, right? Okay. So anyway, thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. And you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And make sure that if you do apply for loan processing, make sure you ask the questions of who does what and their processing. Because you could definitely, when you go into the bank, you're going in as the best. And your processing might be the best thing that they ever seen. And they may not like that because you make them look bad, like what I did with this bank. You understand what I mean? So you're a threat. So don't ever change your ways. Don't ever change. Continue to be a threat, because one day a bank is going to say, damn, this is bad. Okay? Unlike this Slowpoke bank that I just worked for, I'm not going to say the name of it because, I don't want to, but they're. I'm not saying, but it's true. Because you know why I'm saying it? Because I'm about my business. I'm a badass. You hear me? When it comes to work, so anything I put my hand on is gold. Be still, my heart is gold. Because when I process loans, I process it bad, man. I'm a bad. Let me drink some water because I'm parched of talking to myself. I'm not being narcissistic. It's real. Sometimes you have a certain look and a certain attitude they don't like. And because when you're coming in there, it's how can this person know this? How can she do this? She changed the whole process. See, this is what happened with the bank I was just saying. They were scared because people started to notice me. They were aware of what I can do. And they did not want me to change the process. And that's where the problem was. So if you go into loan processing, I don't care if you just got trained to go in being the best. Don't ever let anybody stop you. Don't do that. Go in hard, son. Okay? You go in, the loan officer comes in. Don't be afraid to ask the loan officer a question. You're getting him paid. He should be appreciative of you. Ask him questions. He's not your boss. He should be kissing your, I don't know what YouTube, if they're into cursing and stuff like that. Excuse me, so I'm trying to contain myself, but they're not your boss. They should be worshiping the ground you work on, because you're getting them paid. If you don't process that loan, they don't get paid. You know how many loan officers are getting paid right now before I left? Right now they're cashing them checks. When I was leaving, I had 4 closings on the table, and that heifer turned around and released me because she saw what was happening. So that's what makes me laugh. You understand what I mean? So don't worry about anything. Don't worry about nothing. You are the best, and you will be. For me, I'm the best, and this is how I'm going in. Some of them don't like when you're overconfident because they have a low self-esteem. You know who you are as a processor. You go in and you kiss and you kick and you show them who you are. That's what you do. Because that's what I do all the time. I go in like a bull. I don't play games. I'm never late for work. When I clock into my computer, that is on time. And sometimes I stay a little late, just to get to know, just to do more extra work. Because my name is on the line. Okay, because I see myself walking through the street, everybody's throwing flowers and parades and balloons in my head because I managed to get that loan closed. And I like to have a fanfare when I'm done with that damn loan. Don't play with me. So make sure that you research the bank that you work for. The ones that make the money is the ones that win. The ones that have a revenue of $5 billion per year. This bank turned around and had a meeting saying that they generated that they're number one. I'm like, does anybody like? When I heard that, I almost fell out. I'm like, do you understand? I said, I come straight from Wall Street, man. I'm from New York, from Wall Street. I know what's number one from what isn't. Okay. I never had the nerve to say, oh, we won the JP, some crap. So I was like, you gotta be joking. Like, you're not even in the top 200. How could you be number one? But you know what the good thing about it is that even though I'm not the top number one processor, but I'm gonna tell you I'm number one. That's the same thing what this bank did. They said they're number one, but when you go and look up the facts, they're like, you're not even in the top 200. But in their minds, they're 100. But the numbers speak for themselves. Right? Numbers win. Numbers don't lie. I was like, the loan, like I was looking at the whole thing. I was looking at the loans and stuff. I was like, they're not generating that much money. They're not doing that. They're not generating. That's the whole thing. You know why? Because the people have the thing is that this bank gave away too much. Like they were just giving away. Anyway, let's get off the subject. But I just want to tell you that in any case, anything that you do, put your ass. Sorry, YouTube. I don't know. This is my first time doing it like this. Put your in it. Put your foot in it. Step on the gas. There's nothing you cannot lose. And make sure that you keep updating your lessons. Don't stick to one thing, because remember, don't treat every place that you work at as a college. Think of it as a stepping stone. You are responsible for your own updates. Okay? You see, like the computer not notifies you and say, hey, we're going to update the system in 2 hours. Do you want to do it now or do you want to do it later? The computer has a responsibility of updating itself to make it better for you. It's the same thing with this. You have to keep updating yourself to make it better for you and for the place that you work for. And then you can stand out much higher and on top. Because for me, when I go to a place, I have to be on top. And you don't need drama to do that. You see, that's the beauty of it. Some people lie and scheme on a job just to get ahead. I don't do that. I don't have to do that. My work speaks for itself. My work is the drama. Okay? People who talk on the job and saying that, oh, Sally did this and she's not doing this and things like that. Those are the ones that those are the ones that don't know shit. Don't know nothing. Just like this lady I worked under. You know, lying and stuff like that. You know? Anytime you come across someone that is somebody superior and they tell you that they're going to fire somebody to make your life better, watch out. Don't get into any dramatics with the people you work under. There's no drama. The only drama that you should be doing or involved in is your work. Your work is the drama. Your work has to be the showstopper. Okay? Because this lady turned around and told me how she told me that the loan officer don't like me because I'm black. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. Excuse me. Oof, sorry. YouTube probably gonna cut this off because I said that. I ain't got time for it. That's not the drama that I'm looking for, and I don't care. I don't care. And that's the thing. I'm saying, if you sit down and do something like that and just turn you against the loan officer, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, because you don't want us, whatever personal reason, you shouldn't be working. Because you're supposed to set an example. So my example is this. I'm setting an example right now. When you apply to this loan processing job, any job, put your ass in it. Put hard work, run it like it's your business. And you must be on top, and you must remain on top at all times. Be ahead of everybody. Okay, everybody's gonna want your seat. Everybody's gonna want your status. Everybody's gonna want to beat you, because if you're up here and then the newbie comes here and you're like this, then you gotta turn it. Then y'all are neck and neck, and then they're like this. What you need to do is go back to school or learn some other thing and incorporate it, and then you could be here. And don't tell nobody what you did. Just let it show in your work. You're like, oh my God, really? And then this one is going to be asking you how you did it. Don't ever be afraid to share information. Do it first, master it, and then share the information. Don't say you're going to do it and then give someone the idea to get it done, and then they'll end up teaching you. What you need to do is do it first, master it, and then share the information. That's all I have to say. So I'm just letting you know. So hopefully this works out, and see how YouTube does with this video, and then if you like it, then I'll just make more. Okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Call me Margaret, Maggie, whatever you like. But it's nice talking to you, and you have a good day. Goodbye.